Arafat. I get a lot of love from places like Harlem, Patterson, New Jersey, and definitely New Jersey. Anytime in the community. Yeah.
I don't know if you're playing devil's advocate or not, but I would like to think that maybe the respect that you get is because of partly, and I don't know, I don't have evidence, right? But partly because of the way that you carry yourself. You say yourself that your position is actually right, that they feel like they're trying to make superior, they're not. They want to learn, and you know, a lot of people, all of them, so they want to learn in the way that they want to learn. They want to experience it, so it's expected, it's healthy. So I think that if you embody that kind of scholar that make sort of balances and maintains those identities in a very good way, they can see that and then they'll respect that. But then if you come and you just have a different swagger about you and they don't respect, they'll identify that and then
absolutely. Again, I have no empirical evidence, it's all anecdotal, so let me make sure I frame it that way. But I do agree. I'm still thinking through as to why I never received negative critique, but a lot of the folk in my class did. And those were the good people, right? They had the good values, they had good families, they were the ones, they were the model students. But nobody liked them though, in terms of the students. The largest student body, which were mainstream, remedial, and special ed. Administration liked them. I didn't like them. They didn't get along, and they liked me. I couldn't go to their house. The only thing that kept me in the AP class was the fact that I could pass everything. The teachers didn't even like me. I didn't fit the bill, right, in terms of value system, the way I carried myself, how I thought. It was not consistent with the dominant discourse on how we should be interacting with low-income black children, right? I felt they were disrespectful. I felt they looked down on everybody. I felt they were better than everybody. And definitely whether it was true or not that they were going out in the hallways, so they weren't doing that, and trumpeting the fact that I'm better than you, or maybe they weren't even consciously thinking that. Because we were reading Ferguson, where we can see that through the socialization process by their parents and or maybe administrators who hold a different value system, they are coached, they are encouraged to carry themselves a certain way or with a certain air. And those AP students definitely did that. They were good people at the end of the day. I didn't like them, they didn't like me. But they were, I wouldn't say they were bad people. But whether they realized it or not, their attitudes or what they actually thought about in terms of the students, that came across as clear as day, whether they meant it to or not. And as a function of that, they were mistreated. They were mistreated. And they were mistreated. They were mistreated. I mean, not to make fun of it, but just to give you an idea of how bad it got. I mean, literally, those AP students in my class, my school, anybody ever see Revenge of the Nerds?
Yes.
I seen that as a child. As a boy, I was popular movies. But they became the black version of that. Anytime they would come to the cafeteria, they would be referred to as the nerd herd. Right? And there would be a throng of students, and some of them would cry, and it was really bad. And I don't mean to make fun. I just want to highlight and underscore this issue that we're talking about. So, but even as disgusting and disgraceful as that was, in my opinion, the students were reacting to how they were being perceived, right or wrong. Right or wrong. And I don't think it's right, in fact, to be making fun of kids both ways. I don't. Yep.
I'm trying to digest what you're saying, but at the same time, like as someone who's been in the classroom, being a student and a teacher, I feel like there's something you're not telling us. You're leaving something out. Okay. And I say that candidly simply because of the fact that you said last class, everybody has blood on their hands. If you are silent, a bystander, you are as guilty as those who are doing the teasing. Obviously, there's if you specifically can say they were teased because of this, because they didn't agree with this philosophy, or they said they were like, well, we don't listen to your music, we don't like you, so and so. Okay. But I mean, I feel like if you're leaving something out for us.
If you have a direct question, I'll answer it as best as I can. Meaning, if there's something you want me to specifically speak to. But I will say, I think it's a complicated process. I think I do agree with that. I think the kids who made fun of, the nerd herd, they were wrong. I think the nerd herd who would make fun of them in their way, they were wrong too. Two wrongs don't make a right. I think Willie Lynch syndrome, to be honest with you, we're set up to go against each other. I think in general that's what's really going on. But I just raised those experiences, those personal experiences that help us think about it. There's no answer to this. I don't think there is an absolute answer. It's wrong across the board. What I am ultimately arguing is that those kids, those bad kids, is that we have to get out of our mind that they don't like learning. Because that is breaking down the relationship. That is the reason why I do street par research, to make the point. I'm going to take the biggest, baddest, roughest kids on planet Earth, and I'm going to train them like a doctoral student. If I can get them to produce, you can't tell me a 40 or a 50 or 60-year-old person who has 2-3 times the amount of life wisdom that I do, possibly the same or more education I do, because they do have PhDs running around in these high schools, then you can't tell me that they can't get a better response. Right? I'm taking the Bloods and the Crips, and I'm saying, listen, let's sit down and be scholars for a couple of years. And show the world what we can, I'm not no gang, but show the world what young black men can be. And then I make that point so that high school teachers can look at that and say, you know what, damn, well, sure, maybe I don't know how to get there, but I know that it's possible to get there. So now.
I don't understand why this is like, if you're saying that this is a popular belief, because like we read, obviously we read Claude Brown and all that stuff, and both of those books show, men learning and taking something away, and all of their, friends in or out of prison are respecting them for getting an education and are making fun of them, and I think it's good that they're getting out of the position that they were in, that they were able to escape that environment. So I don't understand.
I think you touched upon the whole point of the class. That's why I have you reading stuff that I do. Because in my opinion, you're not being exposed to in general. I wasn't. To this side of the discourse. To what the hood of the streets, or black men in the streets in the criminal justice system, what they really think about. I'm a psychologist. What they really think about when it comes to learning. Folks, and I mean good folk, and cross racial lines. Whatever the reason is, and I think we have an idea what the reasons are, but they will espouse another narrative, another discourse. I'm talking about people from the hood, from the community. They're not going to they're going to say, yep, you're right. These kids think learning acting white. I mean, and you don't even got to worry about the white conservatives at this point. You can get our own, and they will be the first to make these arguments. As unfortunate as that might be. But that is why I want you reading Claude Brown and the other arguments, because at least hopefully you can absorb the idea, that maybe our traditional ways of thinking about it. I'm trying to get you to challenge the traditional and the dominant ways we've all been socialized to believe about this. Okay, let's move on. We're time to the essence. Mr. Gibson wants to